But now, as we wrap up this episode, we are going to enter into the most foolhardy task a sports commentator could possibly do, and that is to try to predict who is going to show up and take home the Lombardi Trophy. Christopher, we'll start with you. You think the Chargers and Bills are going to end up in the AFC Championship, and that the Eagles and the Buccaneers are going to face off in the NFC Championship, and the bold means you think those are the winners that show up in the Super Bowl. Bills
Super Bowl
versus Eagles. Why?
There's so it's kind of funny how like I think it feels weird to say right now. Pictures of Mama. It feels weird to say right now that Eagles are going to repeat. Like that feels like a big statement. But then when I think about who's going to go back to the NFC Championship, Eagles, maybe Lions, maybe Packers. Although like I really don't. Yeah, I'm kind of off of the Packers again. Bucks, Rams. Who am I forgetting? So when I actually think through the NFC teams, it's like Eagles have a clear shot back to the NFC Championship, and then when it comes down to Eagles or Bucks, I just think realistically, Eagles are the better team. And so then it's like, yeah, I think Eagles are gonna repeat. Maybe not. I don't know about win, but they'll. I mean, between the Eagles and Bills, probably Eagles would probably win. The Bills, there's a certain amount of like, I think it's time. I think they really want it. I think they have a really good running game. And so there's a certain amount of old Patriots where it's like, you have this incredible quarterback. He's an incredible leader. A good running game, and then like an assortment of offensive players to throw to. No big names necessarily, but options. The Chargers feel like a really complete team, really consistent. I know that they had an injury, so we'll see, I guess, how they are going forward. I don't know. Harbaugh wins a lot. Anywhere he goes, he wins.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers and Buccaneers, I mostly just added because I think it'd be fun. And yeah, I mean, of the teams that have a legitimate shot, they seem like they'd be fun, and so I'm kind of willing it. And then between the four of them, Bills and Eagles seem most realistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a lot of people in the opening game of the Bills season, they played the Ravens, and a lot of people around the sports nation, NFL nation, were thinking that's a preview of the AFC Championship game. We rehashed that in our last episode a little bit, why we think the Ravens are kind of, at this point, you can't really... They're going to be a playoff team. They'll probably come back, and their division's very weak, and so I think they'll win their division. But actually going deep into the playoffs, I agree. I think these four teams have as good a chance of any to be able to make it into the Final Four. And you have, as your Super Bowl winner, the Philadelphia Eagles again. You think they're going to repeat. Yeah. And then next year, everything's going to be, can they three-peat? Which the Chiefs cannot, and then the Chiefs will probably come and beat them. And then the Chiefs will win again. And for the next 10 years, it's going to be a back and forth between the Eagles and the Chiefs. Which one can actually accomplish the three-peat? No, you didn't say all that. I'm just filling out this story for color commentating. Why do you think the Eagles will beat the Bills? The Bills have looked like they have a stronger offense.
Yeah, I think that the Eagles are just a more complete team, and they've shown that they can do it, and the Bills have not. And so... Also, I mean, Philly's a fun town to be in when their teams do really well. and I
they're a nightmare.
I work for a business that would, we were swamped the day we had the Super Bowl parade, and so it'd be kind of fun. I wasn't able to experience that because I was signing papers to buy our house that day. So I would love to be able to experience
that. Yeah. Yeah, no, Philly is a very passionate town. The city of brotherly passion is maybe a better way to say it, even though it means brotherly love. Yeah, I think, like I said, I don't think we pick against the Eagles right now. This
Yeah.
is they're proving to be that team that finds ways to win. Period. They're ugly.
Yeah.
Having said all that, I'm going to
Ooh.
pick against the Eagles. I
Interesting.
think the
I
Eagles
was
are
thinking
for
about the
sure.
Colts.
I
Go for
think
it.
the Eagles will be in the Final Four, but I think there's a good chance the Colts could have some legitimacy to them, and that they face off in the AFC Championship against the Chargers. And I don't know, like obviously, yeah, your picks are very pragmatic, like based on history. I kind of scrapped history to a certain degree. Jim Harbaugh is very much wanting to win a Super Bowl. So there is a history motivating him, a fire under his belly. And I think we're seeing the Chargers team come into what they always could have been with Justin Herbert if he only had a a good coach to guide the whole organization as a whole, and to develop the grit and the mentality. I think the Chargers and Lions both have similar types of teams in the physicality and their kind of bite your kneecaps approach. But I think the Colts, I think they're legit. I think they could go deep. And for
Hmm.
all everything else against him, Danny Dimes has won a playoff game, womp womp, against the Vikings. And so he's been there. He can do that. I've always liked Shane Steichen. I think he's been somewhat shafted the last couple of years in his quarterback situation there with the Colts. Maybe, maybe the next few weeks I change my mind about the Colts. That's partly why I don't have them winning, but I think the Chargers will be there at the end. It could be Chargers Bills. I could see that as well. I'm just kind of, yeah. I went back and looked at the Tom Brady era, and you have Tom Brady and the Peyton Manning era. There were years, believe it or not, in between there where Manning and Brady were not in the Super Bowl. Like one of them was not in the Super Bowl. And so I think it's very likely that there are going to be Super Bowls, even though I do think Eagles have this sort of coming into a dynasty type sense in the NFC, and the Chiefs are very much in the middle of a dynasty. But
Hmm.
I think this could be an off year where there are some non-Eagles, non-Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I think the
Hmm.
Lions, the thing that stood out to me in the Lions Ravens game, and we'll see how this fleshes out here against the Browns as well this week. But I think the Lions I think they have a chip on their
Yeah.
shoulder that they have not yet completed. And so I actually don't see them. Like, I think they can be beat, both the Eagles and the Lions. Like, we saw things with the Packers in the first couple of weeks where they look tighter than anybody else.
Right.
We saw some things, there I guess there hasn't been a whole lot outside of that that's shown good probability. But the Rams are another team that they have experience, they have a good solid defense. Maybe they could pull it in, but the Eagles are led by a quarterback who kind of carries with him that, like, we're going to show you time and again, you're going to count us out, and we're going to show you time and again that we can do this, we can take it the whole way. I also think the Lions as a whole team, they really want it, and I think that's starting to come out. That
Okay,
first
these are
week
pictures of
being blown out by the Packers may have been somewhat humiliating. However, I think the Chargers could win it all this year. I'm going to go with Justin Herbert and
All
the
right.
Los Angeles Chargers and Jim Harbaugh. There's part of me that's like, I want the Vikings to be in the Final Four. I think they could be, but I'm trying to be as pragmatic while also imagining what could be in light of what we're seeing so far. So you kind of went with, it's very likely it's Bills Eagles. I could totally see that. I'm going with, like, what if this is an off year, and what
Yeah.
teams could get it in the off year? I think the Chargers could. So I guess
There
we'll
you go.
see. Maybe I should have put the Vikings in the Final Four, but
Just to call your
right
shot.
now I just want them to get that one win. Just the
The one
one win.
playoff
We
win.
want to see a playoff win before the end of 2026.
I sure hope so.